be able to produce as much water as they want, and should a water logia be able to swim through the ocean?
This is my favorite kind of question, the intersection between nerdy academia and geeky media obsession. So here's the interesting thing about water and wetness. Like, you're right, when something is wet, it is being adhered to by water. But that thing doesn't have to be like a solid block. Like, if there is solid particulate in the air, moisture can adhere to it, making the air more humid. Now, take that fact and combine it with this fact. Solid, liquid, gas, and plasma are not the only states of matter, far from it. In fact, there can be solids that flow. And one of the attributes of a liquid is the ability to flow and take the shape of whatever container it is put in. Which means if someone had a water logia and turned their body into water, they wouldn't be free-flowing, and they wouldn't take the shape of whatever they're put in. They would hold their body shape because of their devil fruit powers. Which means, even though they are made out of H2O, they are not necessarily in a liquid state. They are in a different state of matter. What the state of matter is, well, you could have debates about it. It could be a solid that flows. Like, one of the major attributes of a solid is the ability to retain its shape. And even if something looks fluid, if it's holding its own shape, it's a solid. Now, this is the really interesting part here. That means that if someone with a water logia attempted to retain their human form, but make it out of water, they would be wet and they would be weakened. But if someone with a water logia just melted into a puddle of water, then they would be in a liquid state and wouldn't be wet. Which means that the only way someone with a water logia can effectively use their powers is by rising from a puddle of water, fully formed human, Terminator 2, Judgment Day style. And for a bit this feels goofy, but think about this for a second. There are random puddles of water on a ship or something, and suddenly, like, a hand comes out of it and, like, grabs you or stabs you. And the really fucked up thing is that if you ended up falling in water and made yourself into water, you could move through it, but you could never bring yourself back together. Because as soon as you took any form, you would be weakened. Which means the only option for you at that point is to just dissolve into the ocean and experience ego death. And that might be worse than drowning. This got dark. Watch One Piece, everybody.